Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate and happy to be joined via Zoom by Chet Chasson, who is the Port Fourchon Executive Director. Thank you very much for joining us, Chet.
Thanks for having me today, Jacob.
All right, some exciting news regarding the port and some action that was taken at your last meeting regarding a lease agreement. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've been working with a group called Gulf Wind Technologies and Mr. James Martin for several years now, just looking at offshore wind and what it can bring to Louisiana, what it can bring to our region, what it can bring to the port. And we were able to work through things over the last couple of months and have a lease agreement with Gulf Wind Technologies for Gulf Wind Technologies to place a wind turbine in Port Fourchon. The wind turbine that you see on the screen right now, that exact wind turbine is in Ireland, and Gulf Wind Technologies purchased it and is dismantling it and is going to ship it over to the U.S. and then they'll install it at our coastal wetlands park in Port Fourchon. It's about 187 feet tall from base to the tip of the blade, and it can create about 200 to 300 kilowatts of power. So the plan is here, Gulf Wind Technologies wants to put up this turbine so it can basically collect data on wind speeds and the blades and the impact of wind and potentially heavy winds on wind blades, the turbine blades and things like that. And then in turn, they'll collect that data, use it for their purposes, and then we potentially can tap into that power that is going to generate and, power up or have backup power for a couple of our buildings in Port Fourchon, a new facility that we're actually going to be building this year at the Coastal Wetlands Park, which is an elevated kind of lookout tower that identifies the type of plants and birds and wildlife that you're seeing out there at the Coastal Wetlands Park. We'll go ahead and utilize the power. The plan is to utilize the power to power up that facility and things in that area that the port owns. So, it's a win-win. It's something that people will be able to see, and we can talk about, the wind industry and how it's going to be able to allow us as a community, as a region, to enhance the energy services in the Gulf of Mexico, as we do for oil and gas, into the offshore wind space that we know is coming.
Yeah, and it's certainly that a great way to diversify to where you're not, relying solely on oil and gas, and it's coming, in the future one way or another. And it's something that, like you said, y'all had been working together for years on something. So getting out, on the forefront and making this area, on the map, known for a potential, location for wind energy and service related issue. And again, it's brought, all the way from Europe because, that Europe has a step up on, the United States in this area as far as all of wind energy and production. They've been doing that already. But of course, if you look in the background of that picture where that turbine is, you see mountains in the background and everything. So it's a little different terrain when it's going to be brought over here. So collecting that data is going to be very important.
Correct. And as there's interest in the Gulf of Mexico for offshore wind, right? Out near the port with some leases that were sold by the state just recently, as you see on the screen, that purple box is where Diamond Offshore Wind has purchased leases to potentially do a fairly large wind field, maybe create up to 200 gigawatts of power. This information that's going to be gathered with this test wind turbine with Gulf Wind Technologies is going to go a long way towards enhancing the capabilities of what those future wind farms in the Gulf of Mexico will look like, we believe.
Yeah, and it's something that's going to be a sight to see, certainly for whenever because you really don't, look in the picture, you don't realize just, how big those things really are, especially those blades too, that are really huge out there.
Yeah, that's correct. And again, this one's going to be a smaller version of what we anticipate the actual turbines will be offshore. But again, it's for data collection, and it's serving a major purpose into what we can see in the future. And as well as, why do this? Why be a part of this? Well, what we're trying to show is that at Port Fourchon in South Louisiana, in our area, we're creating the supply chain that is necessary for offshore wind, just as we have for offshore oil and gas.
Yeah, certainly the supply chain, all service-related industry, it's all got to start somewheres, and the earlier you get on it, you get that experience, and you're able to build up from there, or take the experience that you already have in energy sector and transfer that over into that new area of energy development.
Absolutely, and that's the critical piece, right? We have a need for job creation, and a lot of our businesses, a lot of our service companies have capacity to service other sectors of energy, because oil and gas is steady, but it's not at high volumes like it's been in the past. So anything that we can do to enhance the capabilities or the ability for our regional businesses in our state and in our region here to have new business, that's what we want to do.
All right, exciting stuff, Chad. Thank you very much for coming on and updating us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again.
All right, and stay tuned for more right here on HTV.